My name is Robert Lamb. I had the pleasure and the honor to work on the first He-Man series at Filmation Studios back in the 80s, 1983, 84, 85. I started out as a storyboard artist, did storyboards for He-Man starting in March of 1983. This, in fact, is my very first board, which was The Dragon's Gift, written by Larry DiTillio. And that was my first He-Man board. Later on in season 2, I was able to sell the studio a freelance script called Into the Abyss. And on the strength of that script and a second one called Not So Blind, I was offered a staff position as a writer. So I wrote for second season He-Man and all of first season She-Ra. And then I went back to storyboards, and I ended up boarding some of my own scripts. So I learned not to write things that that couldn't be produced, because it can be problematic. In fact, that was one of the reasons why I wrote scripts to begin with, was I would get scripts that were challenging to actually produce an animation. And I wanted to see things in the stories that were being neglected, things that were in the original concepts of the piece. So Into the Abyss dealt with the area around Castle Grayskull that was talked about in some of our resource material but was never presented in the series itself. And I had an idea of what would happen if someone fell into the bottomless abyss that surrounds Castle Grayskull, which is the source of He-Man's power, and actually witnessed the power surging up out of the bowels of Grayskull when He-Man summoned it, when he raised his sword. And that idea there became the premise, the basis for Into the Abyss. And I had Teela be the one who actually falls down into the abyss and witnesses all this stuff going on. So that was my first writing position. I've been with Filmation since 1981, and I was there to the very last day when the studio closed, February 3rd, 1989. I had been in touch with He-Man and She-Ra fans online through Facebook and my website, but I hadn't had the chance to meet them face to face. So I'm looking forward to meeting some. I met some already and had some long conversations, and found I found it very gratifying that things that I worked on when I was in my 20s and early 30s stuck with fans who were children then and are now adults, and it still resonates with them. They still love it, and that has been a continual surprise to me, and a pleasant one at that.